The crowd was already electric before the bell ever rang. Under the lights, a calm figure stood in the corner, his eyes fixed not on the audience but on something deeper, something colder. Naoya Inoue, the monster, waited in silence as chants echoed through the arena. On the other side of the ring stood Emanuel Rodriguez, undefeated, confident, and a man who believed skill could outlast ferocity. But this wasn't just about titles or rankings. For Inoue, it was personal. Weeks earlier, at a press event, Rodriguez's coach had shoved Inoue's father. It was a brief, foolish moment, but it crossed a line. What came next would be remembered as both punishment and prophecy. "Here we go." The commentator's voice crackled through the arena speakers. The World Boxing Super Series semifinal, Inoue versus Rodriguez for the IBF bantamweight crown. Rodriguez started sharp, his footwork crisp, his jab quick. He boxed as if he could outthink the storm that was coming. "Good start from Rodriguez," one commentator said. "He's timing Inoue well early on." For the first 3 minutes, it worked. The Puerto Rican champion used movement, combinations, and angles to stay just beyond danger. Every time Inoue closed the distance, Rodriguez slid away, peppering him with shots, refusing to be bullied. The first round was chess, two minds calculating, each feint an equation, each punch a question. But the thing about storms is that they don't negotiate. Less than 30 seconds into the second round, Inoue made his move. A subtle shift of the shoulders, a half step in, and, crack, a left hook detonated. "Oh, what a shot!" the commentator shouted. "Rodriguez is down." Rodriguez hit the canvas hard, blinking up at the lights, trying to piece together what had just happened. He rose, eyes glassy but defiant, and nodded to the referee. The count reached 8. The fight continued. Inoue didn't waste time. He stalked forward, eyes locked on his wounded opponent. A thudding body shot ripped through Rodriguez's guard. The sound echoed like a drum in an empty hall. "Oh, he's down again." A brutal body shot. Blood streamed from Rodriguez's nose. His corner leaned forward in panic, but the fighter waved them off, trying to prove he wasn't finished. He rose again, courage overriding reason. Inoue, cold and precise, advanced once more. Another left to the body, a right upstairs. Rodriguez folded in half, collapsing under the weight of power and inevitability. The referee waved it off. "Unbelievable from Naoya Inoue," shouted the commentator. 3 knockdowns in 2 rounds. Rodriguez has been dismantled. The Japanese phenom didn't celebrate wildly. He simply turned, bowed slightly, and returned to his corner. The message had been delivered. Disrespect had consequences. But what came after would test not just Inoue's fists, but his heart. Months later, the final of the World Boxing Super Series arrived. The stage, Saitama Super Arena. The opponent, Nonito Donaire. A 45-fight veteran, a former multi-division champion, and one of the sport's most respected names. The Filipino Flash wasn't intimidated by the monster standing across from him. He stared into Inoue's eyes before the bell, unblinking, daring him to blink first. The opening bell rang. From the start, Inoue pressed forward, snapping jabs, shifting angles, and landing sharp combinations. "Oh, he's fast tonight," a commentator observed. "Everything's coming with purpose." Donaire, though older, was no relic. He absorbed the pressure, slipped the shots, and returned fire with counters that crackled through the arena. "Good right hand from Donaire," the broadcaster exclaimed. "He's not backing down at all." Then came the second round, and the moment that changed everything. As Inoue stepped in behind a jab, Donaire timed him perfectly. Boom! A thunderous left hook connected cleanly with Inoue's face. His right eye instantly began to swell. "Inoue's eye's gone," someone shouted at ringside. "That's a big shot." Blood and adrenaline mixed as the Japanese champion blinked through the pain. It was the first time in his career that he looked mortal. But retreat wasn't an option. He pressed forward, throwing combinations through half-vision, refusing to yield an inch. The rounds unfolded like chapters of an ancient duel. Inoue's speed and aggression clashed against Donaire's wisdom and timing. The veteran's counterpunching was masterful, turning each exchange into a knife fight of milliseconds. By the fifth, Inoue had adjusted. He feinted more, cut angles, and returned to his signature precision. A right hand snapped Donaire's head back. "That was flush," the commentator yelled. "The monster is back." Yet even hurt, Donaire smiled, a blood-stained grin that spoke volumes. He was enjoying this. He was proving he could still stand toe-to-toe with the sport's new king. Round after round, they traded, each man stealing momentum only to have it ripped back. By the eighth, Inoue's face was marked with swelling and blood, but his punches still carried thunder. "This is a war," cried the commentator. Applause, both men giving everything they have. Round 10 was chaos. Inoue, perhaps sensing he was ahead but not safe, pressed like a man possessed. Donaire, battered but unbroken, countered with combinations that forced Inoue onto the ropes. Each exchange drew roars from the crowd. Every second was tension, pain, beauty, and pride fused into one. By the 11th, the world witnessed one of the most perfect body shots in modern boxing. Inoue feinted high, dipped low, and unleashed a left hook that tore into Donaire's liver. The Filipino folded instantly, falling to a knee, gasping for air. "Oh, that was devastating," the commentator cried. Donaire's in agony. The arena held its breath. The count reached 7, 8, 9, and somehow, impossibly, Donaire rose. He steadied himself, his body screaming for mercy, and walked toward the storm again. The crowd erupted. Even Inoue looked momentarily in awe. For the remaining rounds, both men fought through exhaustion, each punch an act of will. When the final bell rang, they embraced, two warriors who had tested the limits of their humanity and found mutual respect in the fire. Inoue was declared the winner, unified champion, and the new face of the bantamweight division. But in truth, there were two victors that night. Donaire's courage had reignited something in boxing, a reminder that greatness wasn't just measured by belts or knockouts, but by the heart behind every punch. That fight became legend. But legends have sequels. 3 years later, the rematch was set. The air felt different this time. No animosity, only mutual respect and anticipation. The first encounter had been a masterpiece of endurance. The second would become a lesson in dominance. Inoue had evolved. Stronger, sharper, more dangerous. Donaire, now 40, remained fearless, his pride undimmed. He entered the ring smiling, his gloves raised high. But when the bell rang, the tone changed instantly. From the opening moments, Inoue's jab was a weapon of precision. Pop, pop, pop. Each shot split the air, snapping Donaire's head back. "Oh, that's a stiff jab," the commentator noted. Inoue's control is absolute tonight. Donaire tried to close the distance, but Inoue's footwork kept him trapped in a maze of motion. He was chasing ghosts, throwing counters that met nothing but air. Then, late in the first round, the storm broke. A 1-2 combination, jab, right hand, landed flush. Donaire stumbled, his equilibrium momentarily gone. "Inoue's got him hurt," came the shout. "He's in trouble early." The bell saved Donaire. Barely. But the damage was visible, the eyes wide, the legs uncertain. The second round began like a hunt. Inoue circled, feinting, measuring. Then, a right hand exploded against Donaire's temple. "He's down," the arena roared. Applause. What a shot! Donaire hit the mat but, true to form, rose again. The referee looked into his eyes, searching for life. There was some, but only just. Inoue closed in, throwing combinations at frightening speed. Hooks, uppercuts, body shots, each punch a statement that this was no repeat of the past. This time, there would be no war. Only execution. A left hook landed clean, followed by another right. Donaire's legs buckled, his body slumped, and he fell once more. The referee waved it off without hesitation. It's over. Naoya Inoue does it again, this time in devastating fashion. The monster raised his gloves, emotionless as the crowd erupted. Donaire, ever the gentleman, embraced him afterward, smiling through the exhaustion. Respect remained, but the message was clear. The torch had been passed. That night marked more than another title defense. It was a coronation. Inoue stood at the center of the ring, the WBA, IBF, and WBC belts gleaming under the lights, his legacy no longer a promise but a fact. Yet to understand the depth of that moment, one must trace the path that led there, the transformation from prodigy to predator, from champion to myth. Before Rodriguez, Inoue was already feared. After him, he was dreaded. Before Donaire, he was respected. After Donaire, he was revered. The Rodriguez fight showcased destruction. The first Donaire fight revealed endurance. The second Donaire fight displayed perfection. Through those nights, the world saw every dimension of the monster: power, precision, pain, and patience. Inoue's journey wasn't built solely on the violence of his punches, but the discipline beneath them. In the gym, every movement was practiced thousands of times. Every step, every feint, every shot crafted for efficiency. He didn't waste energy. He didn't show emotion. Even his celebrations were subdued, as though victory was never in doubt, only the method of its delivery. Analysts often struggled to categorize him. Was he a power puncher? A technician? A strategist? The answer, perhaps, was all and none. He was a paradox, a man who could end a bout with a single blow yet preferred to dissect opponents piece by piece. Rodriguez had learned that lesson in 2 rounds. Donaire, the first time, had forced Inoue to look inward, to discover what he truly was when the world around him blurred and blood clouded his vision. That fight, brutal and beautiful, forged something inside him. Peace. By the time the rematch came, Inoue no longer needed to prove he could endure. He came to demonstrate that he could dominate without suffering, that his era had begun. In the footage of that second Donaire bout, there's a moment after the knockout when the referee waves his arms, signaling the end. Inoue steps back, expression blank, then slowly exhales. Behind him, the crowd screams, the cameras flash, but his eyes stay calm. It's the calm of inevitability, of destiny realized. Inoue's story, told through those battles, is the story of transformation. The personal insult that fueled his destruction of Rodriguez showed the danger of disrespecting a quiet man. The war with Donaire revealed that beneath the monster's mask was a heart willing to bleed for greatness. And the rematch proved that monsters can evolve, that the fire forged by pain can harden into something unbreakable. When the highlights play, the hooks, the knockdowns, the moments of defiance, they tell a tale not just of one man's dominance, but of boxing itself, the eternal clash of youth and experience, fury and composure, and legacy and ambition. "Oh, what a shot!" echoes once more as the footage rolls, showing Rodriguez crumbling, then Donaire collapsing. The crowd's roar fades into the hum of memory. Naoya Inoue walks away, gloves lowered, the world at his feet. In those quiet steps, there is no boast, no celebration, only purpose. Because for him, every victory is a promise kept. Every opponent is a chapter closed. From the shove that insulted his father to the handshake that honored his rival, his path has been marked by both vengeance and virtue. The monster was born in rage, but crowned in respect. And as the final image fades, one truth remains. When Naoya Inoue steps through the ropes, history does not wait, it bows.